Hey everybody, Justin here with episode 3 of the Runewars Battlecast, where I'll be taking you through a battle between the Waiqar and Daqan armies. It's a pretty pitched fight where both armies clash hard and fast, and huge damage gets traded around, and it leaves few survivors. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
So we'll get started here and take a look at the Waiqar army list, who is at, it says 199, but they don't have the Obacasium's gauntlet in, so I used the Shield of Margath just to estimate the points. It's one less, so I'm actually coming in at 198 points. The Death Knights are a new unit, very cool, and I thought I'd add Bullpen in just because if you get the 2 stable blue runes, I mean, you could cause 3 panic tokens to be put on your enemy, which is pretty amazing. And Moment of Inspiration was kind of a why not last minute pick. The Reanimates, I kind of wanted them to be a speed bump here. Death Mist Banner I definitely wanted to use, and I just wanted them to stick around and deal as much damage as possible while preventing anything he had from coming forward. Artis, he's going to be in close proximity to the archers and the lancers to get their abilities. 2 block archers, it's honestly all I could afford with combat ingenuity, but fortunately the number of blights they can apply isn't increased with the amount of ranks they have, so just as good. And the carrion lancers here, I just wanted to try this fire rune simultaneous order blight spitting thing, so yeah, pretty good. For my opponent, he has 199 points, and he basically just has this terrifying Spear Star with Carry. He was saying that Carry is nice in the Spear Star because, for a couple of reasons. It's going to allow him to get my archers if they're behind any of my units, because in the last couple of games we've played, the archers have just rained blight down upon him. Shield Wall, because 9 block is obviously, it's huge, and he is the largest unit in this game, so Shield Wall is very applicable. Frontline Rune Golem is a must-have. The Eagle Banner Bearer, so this is actually pretty interesting. Same with the Rallying Cornicin. So the idea behind this list is essentially Lord Hawthorne using his skill, putting inspiration tokens on everybody. The Spearmen are going to be rallying, the Oathsworn are going to be rallying, classic just rallying before the battle. And a lot of the units have refreshable upgrades, Shield Wall, Fortuna's Dice, Tempered Steel, so it's just going to be inspiration everywhere. And the Eagle Banner Bearer, heaven forbid he comes up against an Artis, you cash in those inspiration, they're mortal strikes, so pretty cool idea. And the Rallying Cornicin is refreshes items, remove banes, so you can tell that this build is a little PTSD influenced by previous games where I've just blighted him to hell. And this game's not really any different. Blighting was a big part of my strategy as the Waiqar. Lord Hawthorne, Might of the Daqan, gives him extra defense, totally cool. And the cavalry is 4 wide, so just again going for that big old damage push. Maximum damage for this unit I think is 32 if all the things go correctly. And then a speed bump Rune Golem in there, so cool. So I was the first player in this scenario because I had less points and I chose to go first. I picked the head-to-head because it allowed for the two types of terrain instead of just all one type, and all of the formations were essentially the same. It was like head-to-head, battle lines, and something else, but essentially it was just you facing your opponent, so there wasn't really much to pick. But I like placing terrain, that's kind of what I'm into. He picked Escort, and very interestingly, he wanted me to come to him. And if you've played Waiqar, that's not what they're about. We like sitting, we like not moving, and we like people running into our archers while we don't move. So this made me uncomfortable, and definitely mixing things up, so we'll see how it goes. So I've chosen to place the objective token onto my Carrion Lancer unit. because I figure they're literally just doing ranged attacks the whole game. I mean, I really don't want to get them into trouble, and they're quite resilient. I've placed the objective token just to the right. I mean, to the very corner of his deployment zone. It has to be in his deployment zone. Now, for deployment here, it's worth mentioning that we played with the tournament rules. In my last cast, you'll know that the Latari player who had 6 units or something like that, he was actually able to place 3 units after I had placed my entire army, and that was a huge disadvantage. So the tournament rules say that if you have more units than your opponent, you place units down until you have equal number of units, and then it goes back and forth. So a much more fair deployment system, even though I would have benefited from it, and I think that's how we'll play in the future. It just makes sense. So here is the setup for the game. The first piece of terrain placed was the farthest one you can see. I put it just basically, I wanted to block off that side of the map, and after I placed it I realized that like I'm coming to him, so again, Waiqar is totally not used to this thing, but maybe I should have placed it farther to the edge of the table. Anyway, we made this channel where, yeah, tight squeeze, and essentially our armies are just left in this open battlefield facing each other. It's a slugfest. No one wants to use that terrain. Our blocks are a bit too big to use some of that terrain, so yeah, it's a pretty standard squaring off against each other deployment. So round 1 runes are 3 greens, a stable, and 2 red. The red are good for me because of the fire rune that I have on my carrying lancers. The greens are obviously good because I have a necromancer, and the blues are kind of good for everybody. The Death Knights now benefit from the blue, and rune golems classically love the blue. So Artis here activates first, if you can believe it, at a 5, moving 3 forward, and here he is going forward just to the right of the spikes, so he's still pretty protected there. Hawthorne's next, and he just kind of does a shift and a rally. In retrospect, my opponent realizes he should have used the skill, which would have given everybody inspiration, but you live and you learn, you know. So my carrion lancers here are... the idea was I wanted Artis to go forward 3, the lancers to go forward 1, and then this would create like a pocket for my archers to shoot through, and I think it works pretty well actually, so there we are. The spearman unit is shifting to the side. Essentially, you know, they're staying on top of the token, letting me come to them. They're not doing anything too crazy. My archers do exactly as I say. They move forward, and the idea is to have a pocket for them to shoot through if need be. So the rune golem shifting over 1. Again, he's kind of making way for his cavalry to come through, as we'll see here. I shift forward with my reanimates. I just wanted them forward enough so that they're kind of blocking the carrion lancers from any charges. And whammy, there you go. So a 4 and a 2, coming forward with that huge group of cavalry. So he did kind of move his Hawthorne and move his rune golem over so that they wouldn't overlap any trays and therefore could go through his own units. So there he is, he's pretty close. My Death Knights, I moved forward and reformed. I wanted to go a bit later because I didn't know if he was going to be reforming any of his guys to kind of come at me. So here's the ending shot for the first round. You can see his Oathsworn are pretty much... Artis is in some trouble here. And everything else, I mean, my Death Knights are kind of coming around the backside there, but we'll see how that goes. So the runes for the second round are 2 red, 2 green, and a blue. And here we are. It's about to get intense here, people. Hold on to your hats. So Hawthorne does use his skill and give everybody inspiration. Very good. So inspiring. Artis, I mean, you really got to think about who is first player, and I just knew I couldn't, if I could have, I would have charged him, but I knew he was going to get me, so I skilled, which does nothing, but I get the shield up. Bam! Right in the kisser. So he gets me at initiative 4, and he he does have rank discipline. So last time he played, he didn't and whiffed. Here he has rank discipline and he still whiffs. So poor guy. Anyway, Artist lives. Takes a wound only. Maximum damage this unit can do is 32. Instead, he just does 4. So pretty weak. And there's the panic check. I get 2 panic tokens. Better than a poke in the eye. Spear Star, wielding in. Yeah. So my archers tee off on the cavalry, and they don't have rerolls. So there you go. We're all whiffing out here. Just a blight token. I make them. My carrying lancers here are doing the fire rune attack. They whiff, as you can see. This panic check is actually on Artis because it's considered a ranged attack by the carrion lancers when they use the fire rune. So the reanimates here, yeah, I knew that his cavalry was coming in, so I dialed in a charge. What I didn't anticipate was the terrible position they would be in for his Spear Star. So here we are, boys. No going back now. They get a pretty sweet roll. I mean, that's 6 damage and a double panic check, which didn't amount to anything, but fair enough. This is not easy to see, I apologize, but it's the Death Mist banner, and it's ticking away for 1 for the blue rune. Now, admittedly, I didn't use this every turn. I forgot, but you'll see why in a minute. I was overwhelmed, I should say. Rune Golem's just shifting, reforming, so he is going to be the speed bump this Daqan army needs and ride into my Death Knights. He's just lining himself up. And here the Death Knights doing their amazing move 3 reform. I mean, just so good. I could have reformed into the horses, the Oathsworn, but I just was like, they're gone. They're not going to last very long. So I was kind of lining up for his Hawthorn, actually. There's the overarching shot there. So carrying lancers and archers are totally happy. Artis has seen better days, and I will just point out that the reanimates killed enough of the so they kill a unit of the Oathsworn, so they choose to take it from Artis's side, which disengages Artis from the unit, and I choose not to pursue because I just don't want them to have the option of killing me. Yeah, I'm actually okay with him taking a step back, so that worked really well for me. So round 3, 3 greens, fantastic for my reanimate units. Big regenerate with the Necromancer. We're talking about 6 figures here, so really exciting. So this is his Oathsworn doing their attack, and they can only attack my reanimates, and they have a threat of 1. So this is the new errata rules for the just in time for the tournament. And yeah, they've got a threat of 1, so they hit for 3. That's it. That's actually they hit for 4, pardon me, because they're using the tempered steel. So he's attacking with his Spear Star, and the blight comes from the Carrion Lancers last turn. I couldn't shoot the Oathsworn because they were engaged, but I was able to get the Spear Star here. Oh boy, so he hits me for 16 damage. What is that? Because he has a blue rune, which makes him have a threat of 4, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 damage on here. And it would have killed me. But that Necromancer and his 2 armor allows me to have 1 reanimate left. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Lingering Dead, it only applies so long as you have a unit left. So if he had killed all my units, they're gone, the unit's gone, there's no regenerating. So MVP Necromancer, completely useless as far as regenerating goes, but that lightly padded silk shawl he has on was enough to keep my unit alive, so huge hit from my opponent. Very overwhelming. So there's my reanimates attacking, and because of Lingering Dead, they still attack with a threat of 3, and they get rerolls, so they're still scary. And I hit him for 6 damage, and take away the 2 more units there. I forget to trigger Death Mist Banner, which would have done a damage to both of these guys, but I just was, yeah, I was flabbergasted by losing 19 units in a single swing. The archers tee off and get a pretty good one. I mean, that's killing a unit and putting on 2 blight. And Artis is using his inspiration token to get rid of a panic. He fails his charge because I guess I just didn't think I'd do that much damage. So there's no unit to hit. I mean, yeah. The Carrying Lancers charge forward. Now this is a great hit. I mean, we're talking about 4 damage and 2 mortal strikes. I mean, this unit is toast. But I didn't really think about the position I was putting my unit with the objective token on next to this Spear Star. Thank God that reanimate unit lived, because if it didn't, I would have been pooched. So, very good. Hawthorne's coming up, and hello Artis, he says. Crappy shot, but the Rune Golem's kind of, I don't know. He did a charge. I think he thought maybe my Death Knights were going ham, but they didn't. There's my Death Knights doing a late move reform, and I did that because I didn't know if his Hawthorne or Rune Golem were going to reform to match my movement. So by moving late, I thought I'd have to confuse them, but it ended up pretty well. And there they are after their huge regeneration of 3, single tray reanimate unit versus the 9 tray Spear Star. Overarching shot is not really looking great for me as the Waiqar. It's looking a bit grim. The runes are 2 red, a green, and 2 blue, so that Spear Star has a threat of 5. So Hawthorne charges in and smashes my Artis, and I knew he was going to. It was either he did it or I did it, but he was the first player, so I kind of just assumed that he was going to do it. And he almost kills me. I mean, I've got 1 wound left. He does 6 damage. And Fortuna's dice was used to actually, he blanked out on his red, and he used Fortuna's to change it to a double hit. So he almost kills me. There's the fear check, so he gives me, he's cashing in those 2 tokens, and he is using it on the immobilization token. I think that's how it worked. Yep, there it is. So Artis hits back, and I knew he was coming in, and so I hit him back. And I do 4 damage myself, which is enough to do a single wound, because he has the Damasi, the Might of Daqan. Yeah, that's what it is. So his Spear Star just obliterates, and I will point out that my opponent was re-rolling 4 surges and just didn't get him. So he just obliterates my reanimate unit and doesn't have any surges for Kari to shoot. I mean, he does have a surge, so he does 2 damage to the Carrying Lancers, but they have an armor of 3. Carrying Lancers are reforming. I'm turning away. I'm running away. I'm like, this Spear Star is too much. Yeah, time to go. Now, I charge quickly, and I miss. You can just barely see it. I miss by a fraction of an inch. Get the panic token. And I just, new cavalry unit. The Waiqar were just scared and confused. We don't really know how to use these units yet. And I should have dialed in a bigger movement. I mean, I kind of thought I'd collide with Hawthorne anyway, even if he squared up with Artis, and I was wrong. So I might as well have dialed in the biggest charge I had and just connected, because it was a big mistake. And surprise, surprise, the Rune Golem charges my Death Knights, and it's a huge pain in the ass because I don't benefit from any of my impact or anything. So good for him. Comes in and hits me for, I believe with the blue rune he hits me for 4 there, so it's enough to kill a single unit. And he gives me a stun token, which is extremely annoying. There's a stun token. Haven't seen a lot of stun tokens, to be honest, in our games, and they are pretty sweet. They really muck you up. So my archers with a big boy hit here actually do 4 damage and put on 3 blights. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Give me that every time. So round 5, 2 blue. Things are turning up really good for my opponent. Blue runes are very good for him. and the double red and green. And the red's not benefiting me because my carrying lancers are facing the other way, as demonstrated by the photo. So my carrying lancers are in some serious trouble. I mean, they're getting flanked. 2 blue, this thing's got a threat of 5. It's just, what have I done? I regret everything. So I attack first, because I'm first player this turn, and I attack and just crush this guy. All I needed was a surge, because I had one dial in, and he's got blights, and the carrying lancers are close, so 2 mortal strikes. See you later, buddy. This was a great play. So the Rune Golem, first time I've seen this, honestly, uses a skill which gives a stun token per blue rune. So there you go, 3 stun tokens on those guys, and then he gets an extra 2 shield this turn because of those stun tokens. So this guy has a ton of armor. I think he's got 6 armor. Crazy. Carrying lancers sneakily do the rally and the move 3 to get the hell out of there. This is my Death Knight attacking with Moment of Inspiration. I just figure I gotta get this guy dead. So I dial in the Mortal Strike, but of course he stun token blocks it. So I just hit this guy for 2, 4, 6, 8. 8, pretty good, but it's still only 1 wound. I mean, talk about a resilient Rune Golem. Now, I made a mistake here because I just thought like I'd hold on to Obcassium's Gauntlet and Death's Grasp. I'd be like, oh, I should save it for a more important target. But if I had just used it here, he would have been dead at the end of the round. And, I mean, I would have been moving again. But I just live and learn. So the Spear Star reforms and uses their skill, which is the rallying Cornicin, and he takes away the panic off the Rune Golem, and that's pretty much it. So he reformed and reformed out of range. I mean, when he was squared up, I could hit his corner. When he reformed, I'm now out of range. So that stung a little bit, but well played. Overarching shot. Carrying lancers, running. Artis, looking like he's in some serious hot water here. So the round 6, 1 blue, 1 green, 2 red, whatever. It's not really... No one's really benefiting. I mean, the Rune Golems, of course, will, but they're not benefiting me at all. So, Artis does a reform and rally. He's got the immobilization token on, so it's not like he can move. And with a 9 block coming at me, I'm just like, why would I even shield? So, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Face it head on, buddy. Last Samurai style. I reformed these carrying lancers, and maybe I should have just kept running. I don't know, but I reformed him. Death Knights attacking. Now, obviously, he cancels out the Mortal Strike with my stun token, or whatever, but I kill him anyway, so goodbye. Spear Star charges Artis, and they hit, and again, he is re-rolling for those surge tokens, but doesn't... Yeah, enough to kill Artis, no doubt, but he only kills 2 of my archers, I think. And they're the 2 archers that he killed with Kari's ability, so... my archers are shooting at him. They've been in a great spot this whole game, really. I haven't really had to move them, so... There you go, killing 2, getting the blight on. Definitely not a bad idea. Overarching shot here, and... yeah, I mean, huge unit for him, but I've also got some units kicking around. Round 7. 3 greens, which no reanimates around, so whatever. 2 reds, okay for my carrying lancers, and a blue for him. So this is an interesting play because I'm first player. I know he charges me at 4, but I can also charge him at 4, and whoever charges first is going to cancel out the other person's action. So very mind games here. I was afraid that he might dial in the late hit that he has. So if I charge him, then he just smashes me. But ultimately, I opted to go for the charge. So here we are. I'm taking the fight to him and my objective token with it. So I roll 6 damage and a Mortal Strike there. So that's pretty good. And you can see he's lost 7 units there. And he dials in a charge and whiffs, obviously. So very lucky for me, and yeah, something to think about, that's for sure, this game. Oh, mind games. I reform my Death Knights. I've got a perfect flank here, or so I think. Foreshadowing. These guys shoot, and they get a pretty massive hit, but he has a shield wall, so he only ends up losing 3 units. So here we are, coming up to the final round. All the cards laid. 1 green, 2 blue. Good for him. I mean, he's got that threat of 5 coming into this round. So he deals in a 3. And I wasn't sure what the best thing to do. He may have wanted to dial in a 7 and add the extra attack because it's 5. But these carrying lancers are super resilient. I mean, you'd have to do, what is that, 18 damage to kill them, which is pretty tough. So he, terrible roll. I cancel out one of it with the blight, and he just whiffs like crazy, so he does 1 wound. This is actually pretty hilarious. So I charge him, but he just cancels out the charge, so instead I'm just like, thunk, and I bump into him politely, and just take a panic token. Archers get a pretty good hit here. Loses 4, so not bad. Puts the blight token on. So the carrying lancers fight back, and they do a pretty terrible job. They hit for 4 damage and take off. So I should have taken off 2 more units here, but it didn't really impact the game. So there it is, the final shot. Definitely I was in a good spot here. You know, if the game had continued, it's hard to say who would have done better, but there you have it. And the final score, Daqan 68, Waiqar 77. So I take the day, and really it came down to just a couple split-second decision mind games. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Episode 3 of the Runewars Battlecast coming to an end, and I'd like to think it delivered on the bloodshed. Almost an entire reanimate unit lost in a single swing, and we got to see the Death Knights showcased for the first time. I look forward to learning how to use them a little bit better, and very well played to my opponent, who only lost by about 10 points, so very close game. I hope you all enjoyed. Please consider subscribing or liking the video, as it helps greatly, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.